There is a plant on this earth that remembers pain. Touch it once, it closes. Touch it again, it closes faster. And if you hurt it enough times, it stops opening altogether. Now tell me, does that sound like a plant? Or does that sound like you? We live in a world that touches us constantly, not always gently. Criticism from someone we loved, a childhood we didn't ask for, a moment that broke something inside us we still can't name. And over time, without even realizing it, we learned to do exactly what that plant does. We closed. We pulled our warmth inward. We folded our softness away. We made ourselves smaller, not because we wanted to, but because at some point, staying open hurt too much. And now, closing feels like breathing. It feels automatic. It feels like who we are. But what if it's not? What if, just like this extraordinary plant, what you think is your personality is actually your protection? Today, we're going to explore one of the most psychologically profound organisms on this planet. A plant that flinches. A plant that learns. A plant that, against everything we thought we knew about nature, remembers. And in its tiny, trembling leaves, we might just find the most honest mirror we've ever looked into. It goes by many names. Mimosa Pudica, the sensitive plant, the touch-me-not, the humble plant. In some parts of the world, they call it Lajalu, the one that feels shame. And every single name tells you the same story. This is a plant that reacts to the world around it. Native to Central and South America, Mimosa Pudica is a low-growing, creeping herb with rows of tiny compound leaves arranged like delicate feathers on either side of stem. Beautiful, intricate, almost ornamental in its elegance. But the beauty is not what makes it unforgettable. The moment you touch it, the leaves collapse. They fold inward, pairs pressing together like hands clasping shut. The stems droop. The entire plant physically withdraws. It happens in milliseconds. It looks unmistakably like flinching. The scientific explanation is remarkable. When the plant is touched, specialized cells at the base of each leaf, called pulvini, rapidly release water, causing a sudden loss of internal pressure. The leaves lose their structural support and collapse. It's called thigmonasty, movement in response to touch. But science, as precise as it is, sometimes gives us the mechanism and misses the meaning. Because when you watch this plant close, you don't think about water pressure and cell biology. You think about yourself. You think about the last time someone reached toward you and everything inside you folded. In 2014, a team of researchers at the University of Western Australia, led by Dr. Monica Gagliano, conducted an experiment that quietly shook the foundations of what we thought we understood about intelligence and about plants. The experiment was elegantly simple. They took Mimosa Pudica plants and dropped them, repeatedly, from a short, harmless height. The first time, the plant closed immediately. The second time, same response. Tight, defensive, total shutdown. The fifth time, still closing, but perhaps a fraction slower. The 10th time, the leaves didn't fold as tightly. By the 30th time, something astonishing happened. The plant stopped closing. It had learned, not through a brain, not through a nervous system as we understand it, not through anything that our textbooks said was required for learning. The Mimosa Pudica had recognized that this particular stimulus was not dangerous, and it chose, if we dare use that word, to stop wasting its energy on a threat that wasn't real. But here's where it gets truly extraordinary. Dr. Gagliano tested those same plants 28 days later. Nearly a month had passed. No reinforcement, no repeated training. And the plants? They still remembered. They did not close. 28 days, with no brain, no neurons, no synapses, a plant held a memory. Let that settle for a moment. A plant with no brain can learn from experience and carry that learning forward in time. But now, let's turn this mirror the other way. Because if a plant can learn that something isn't dangerous and stop reacting to it, what happens when a living thing learns that something is dangerous? What happens when the touch isn't harmless? What happens when the pain is real? In psychology, there's a concept called the trauma response. And if you've ever experienced it, truly experienced it, you will recognize it not as something you do, but as something that happens to you. Someone raises their voice, and your body goes rigid before your mind even registers why. Someone offers you love, and something in your chest tightens instead of opening. You enter a room full of people, and a quiet voice inside you whispers, "Don't let them see you. Don't let them get close." This is your nervous system doing exactly what the Mimosa Pudica does. It is folding. And it's folding because at some point in your life, that response saved you. Dr. Stephen Porges, who developed the Polyvagal Theory of the autonomic nervous system, describes this beautifully. He explains that our bodies carry within them an ancient, wordless intelligence, a system that constantly scans the environment for danger. He calls it neuroception, not perception, neuroception, below awareness, below choice. And when this system detects threat, real or remembered, it doesn't ask for your permission. It acts. It floods you with cortisol and adrenaline. It constricts your breathing. It tenses your muscles. It pulls your emotional warmth inward, behind walls, behind silence, behind distance. Fight, flight, or, and this is the one people talk about least, freeze, collapse, shut down, go numb, disappear while still being physically present. Sound familiar? Now here's the part no one tells you. These responses are not weaknesses. They were never weaknesses. The Mimosa Pudica doesn't close because it's fragile. It closes because closing is what has allowed it to survive for millions of years. When an insect lands on its leaves to feed, the sudden collapse startles the predator away. When heavy rain threatens to damage its delicate structure, the folding reduces its surface area and protects it. Closing is not failure. Closing is an ancient, intelligent act of self-preservation. And if you have spent your life closing, folding inward when the world reached for you, I need you to hear something. You were not broken for doing that. You were surviving. Your nervous system took the data it had, the harsh words, the unpredictable anger, the loneliness, the moments when being soft meant being hurt, and it made a decision for you. Close, protect, endure. And it worked. You're still here. But survival and living, they're not the same thing. And this is where the Mimosa teaches us its most important lesson. Because the Mimosa Pudica, no matter how many times it closes, always opens again. Always. Not immediately. Not recklessly. Not all at once. But given time, given stillness, given safety, given the quiet absence of threat, it unfurls. Every single time. In trauma therapy, there is a phrase that has become almost sacred in its simplicity. The body keeps the score. Dr. Bessel van der Kolk wrote an entire book with that title. And its central truth is this: trauma lives not in the story we tell about what happened to us, but in the body that lived through it, in the muscles that still brace, in the breath that still catches, in the shoulders that still rise toward the ears when someone stands too close. Healing, then, is not about thinking your way out of pain. It's about teaching your body, slowly, gently, with enormous patience, that it is safe to open again. And this is where nature becomes not just a metaphor, but a medicine. Research from the University of Exeter, published in Scientific Reports, found that people who spend at least 2 hours per week in natural environments report significantly higher levels of health and psychological well-being. Studies in Japan on Shinrin-yoku, the practice of forest bathing, show that time among trees measurably reduces cortisol levels, lowers blood pressure, and shifts the nervous system from sympathetic activation, the fight-or-flight state, into parasympathetic calm, the rest and digest state, the state in which healing actually becomes possible. Dr. Rachel Kaplan and Dr. Stephen Kaplan at the University of Michigan developed what they call attention restoration theory. The idea that natural environments gently engage our involuntary attention, allowing the focused, effortful attention we exhaust in daily life to rest and recover. In simple words, nature doesn't demand anything from you. It doesn't judge you. It doesn't evaluate your performance. It doesn't need you to be strong or articulate or impressive. It just lets you be. And in that permission, in that radical, quiet acceptance, something inside us begins to do what the mimosa does after the danger has passed. We begin to unfold. Not all at once. Not dramatically. A breath that goes a little deeper than yesterday. A conversation where we say what we actually feel, not what we think is safe. A moment where someone reaches toward us, and instead of flinching, we stay open. That is not a small thing. For anyone who has lived in a state of chronic closing, that moment of staying open is one of the bravest things a human being can do. And it starts, as so many profound things do, with something almost absurdly simple. Go outside. Stand among living things. Let the world touch you gently, and practice not pulling away. There is something deeply humbling about a plant that responds to touch. It tells us that sensitivity is not a defect of nature. It is nature. The same softness that makes the mimosa vulnerable to a single finger is the same softness that allows it to feel sunlight, to detect rain, to sense the footsteps of an approaching animal in time to protect itself. Its sensitivity is not separate from its strength. Its sensitivity is its strength. And the same is true of you. The things you feel so deeply, the hurt, the overwhelm, the instinct to close when the world gets too loud, these are not signs that something is wrong with you. They are signs that you are paying attention. They are signs that you are alive. So if you have spent a long time closed, if you have folded yourself so tightly that you've forgotten what it feels like to be open, let this be your permission. You do not have to open all at once. You do not have to open for everyone, but you can open. The mimosa knows this without being taught. After every closing, there is an opening. After every contraction, an expansion. After every winter, the unbearable, stubborn, miraculous return of green. You're not a closed thing. You're a living thing. And living things open. If this story stayed with you, if something in these words felt familiar, I hope you'll carry it gently through your day. And if you'd like to keep exploring the quiet intelligence of the natural world and what it can teach us about our own minds, this channel will be here, growing slowly, opening gradually, one leaf at a time.